Is that enough for me to pick up, or do I need to speak louder, quieter?
I think it's enough.
It's okay? Okay, cool. Just want to make sure.
Yeah. Alex. Can I get you to introduce some really basic first aid item, like for each household?
Yeah. So for household items, we typically recommend going with something like a general first aid kit, like our outdoor and sport kit. It comes fully packed with everything you would need. So inside of it, it has, as you can see, lots of different pouches, lots of different packs. The essentials that you'll get in every single first aid kit for the household is your gauze pads. So those would be to put on any open cut, anything that's bleeding, helps absorb the blood, helps absorb anything that might be there, protecting it from infection. Of course, you'll also want to get in some antiseptic wipes, just to help with cleaning. The great thing about these ones is they're not an alcohol base. So when you wipe them on an open wound, it doesn't hurt. So if a kid scrapes their knee and you're cleaning the wound, it's not going to sting. And outside of that, of course, you're going to want tape, and then you're also going to want your gauze so that you can wrap and hold everything down so that the wound stays protected and there's no risk of infection. Outside of that, there are always good essentials such as bandages, your essential wound closures, things like that. And then, of course, for anyone who might have hurt themselves, a cold pack. Yeah.
Oh, so okay. So these kind of stuff should be included in a household kit, right?
Yeah, these are essential items for any household, whether you have kids, whether there's no kids in the house, anything like that. Even just the risk of burning yourself on the oven or cutting yourself with a knife, you want access to anything that could help you seal an open wound or take care of any form of surface level injury.
Okay, I see. What about like which one? So which one is for the workplace? Let's say just a very like just a maybe a normal office.
Yeah.
So which one like should we go with?
Yeah, good question. So the difference between the workplace, the work office type first aid kits and a general first aid kit is mostly just in the requirements that we have for WorkSafe BC and in Canada. So a lot of the items will be the same. So as an example, we have a WorkSafe BC Level 1 first aid kit here. So when I open this one up, you'll see it's very, very similar in terms of how it looks. It has the same sort of plastic setup. It does come with face shields and face masks, as that is now a requirement for a workplace. But you'll see it has the same wipes, it has the tape, it has the same gauze, it has all the gauze that you need, everything, gloves, and then of course you get it to the other side and you start to get into things like a pocket mask and other sort of wound closures. So a lot of the items are the same, but it is important to consider this because now a lot of people do work from home. Since 2020, things have radically changed, and so if you are working from home and you consider your home an office, you would want to consider as well having a workplace first aid kit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So, what about like, is there like another type of the kit like for like some different for different workplace, like for example like maybe a construction site or something?
Yeah, good question. So the difference with WorkSafe, and all of this information is available on WorkSafe BC's website. So it's open to the public. Anyone can go search for the first aid requirements on WorkSafe's website. The kit that you require for your office or your construction site or anything like that are dependent on a few things. One is the hazard of the work site. So obviously a general office job compared to a construction site, very different in terms of how hazardous they are, as well as the number of people. So if you're one or two people, the requirements are going to be a lot lower than an office that has a couple hundred people. And then the other component that they include is how far are you from a hospital. So if you're very close to a hospital, the requirements will be lower than if you're far away from a hospital. So there are 3 different levels. There's a basic first aid kit, which we don't have here. We have the level 1, which is probably the most common first aid kit. This would be your standard first aid kit for an office, a bank, any form of standard office job. And then we have the level 2 first aid kit, which, as you can see, is a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker. It just comes with a lot more of everything. And this would be the type of first aid kit you'd find at a construction site, a warehouse, anything with heavy machinery where there's just more risk.
Okay, I just have a question. So so for some office that might only have like just maybe just a couple of people, maybe less than 10 people, and versus like there is some big company that might have like over 100 of people. So
Yeah.
uh, so so how are we going to determine the quantity of the kit that is needed to the workplace?
Yeah, we typically recommend for a smaller workplace, you'd be able to get away with just one first aid kit. We do like to recommend just looking at the space. If your office is on one floor and everyone has quick access to their first aid kit, one kit's probably okay. But if you are spread across 2 or 3 floors in an office building, or if some people sit in different areas, you might want to consider having a small first aid kit that's accessible to them just in case they need something quicker, just so they're not having to run up the stairs or find an elevator. But in terms of finding that information and what fits, we can always help. So anyone can reach out to us at St. John Ambulance and we can help them determine what they need. But again, WorkSafe BC makes that all public. So anyone who is concerned about their office and making sure that they have everything can also find that there.
Okay, I see. So right now, in BC, so is there any some kind of like mandate like for workplace to maybe to include at least one first aid kit in their office?
Yes, yeah. So WorkSafe BC has that rule. So there is a provincial requirement to have first aid attendants, so someone who's trained in first aid, as well as the first aid supplies. That typically starts to take effect once the office is over one person. So as long as you're working with more people than just yourself, there's going to be some level of first aid requirements.
Okay, I see. And also can you also like introduce the vehicle kit?
Yeah, of course. So the other 2 kits that we have that we kind of work with, I'll just tuck this one out of the way. We have the vehicle kit here, and then we also have the home and family kit. The home and family kit is great because it's very simple, it's very compact, it tucks in the coat closet or shoe closet very easily. The vehicle kit is a good one to have in your car, hence the name. And it mostly comes with the same supplies, but it's very convenient to fit in your trunk. It doesn't take up too much space, so regardless of what you drive. And it comes with all the same stuff. So it has your bandages, things that you would need for closing a wound. It has all your gauze as well, so all your dressings to help put over an open wound to help stop bleeding. And then some other components that it comes with as well, which are great, is an emergency blanket. So if you were to come across any form of motor accident where someone may be in shock or still experiencing some trauma from that, there is a blanket here. And most of them will also come with, we do have the emergency preparedness kits as well. They come with roadside reflectors, so if you did need to pull over in an emergency, there's things that you can put there to make sure that you're visible and people know that you're currently assessing something.
What is the difference between the home and family and the outdoor one?
The main difference will be the quantities of items. So a lot of the items in first aid are all very, very similar. It'll just be how much of each item do you need. So if you were a household and you had 2 or 3 kids running around the house, you probably want the outdoor sport kit because chances are they're going to scrape a knee, they're going to cut themselves, they're going to get hurt, and you're going to need more. If it's a household and just 2 people and adults, not as crazy as kids can get, the home and family kit's probably more than enough for the odd time that you cut yourself chopping up vegetables.
I see. So like, how should people to have access to get the first aid kit?
Yeah, so all of our locations, all of the St. John ambulance locations around the province will carry first aid kits, so people can always come and visit us. We have access to all of our first aid kits there for purchase. They can also reach out to us by phone or email, and we can ship them directly to them as well. So if people can't always get to a location, we can also ship all of our kits across the province.
Is it also possible for people to get them from maybe a local store?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of different stores will carry them. I know Canadian Tire and a lot of drugstores will carry some type of first aid kit. It won't be a St. John Ambulance first aid kit, but there are tons of different places to go find first aid supplies to make sure that your home is safe.
I see. Mm, and also, can you also just like to elaborate on, so why is it really important like for people to have the first aid kit in their house or workplace?
Yeah, I mean, we never know when emergencies are going to happen, and we never know when something's going to happen that we need to be able to take care of ourselves or take care of someone close to us. And it's one of those items where you don't really think of it until you need it, and you're glad you have it when you did need it. And you never want to be in a position where you needed it and couldn't find it. So we always recommend to have them there. It's that thing you hope you never have to use, but when you do need to use it, you're very glad you did. Anything can happen to anyone, right? Whether it's preparing a meal, whether it's walking up or down the stairs and you trip, there's any different way that we could get hurt or scrape something, cut something, bump something, and you always want to make sure that you can take care of that or take care of whoever got hurt.
I see. And also, is there which one would you recommend for for some maybe for some like kind of like a business or maybe just a store or restaurant or something?
Yeah, for a small family-owned store, restaurant, anything like that, I would probably recommend going with that level 1, the OFA WorkSafe level 1 kit. So this one here, this would be more than enough for a local business. And it would also suffice as well as what they need for their home or their family. So this is kind of a great catch-all first aid kit. It has enough to take care of anything that could happen at their business, but also has everything they need to take care of their family.
I see. Oh, I see. So so last year, last year in BC, there has been a crazy heat wave.
Yes.
Yeah. So now right now summer is coming up again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So which item do you think that is really necessary to prepare ourselves?
Yeah, heat waves are a bit of a unique one. A lot of first aid equipment that's in the kits are very specific to an open wound, a bump or a bruise, a broken bone, things like that. In terms of a heat wave, I would say check with any form of local health authority or medical professional. But of course, the main thing will be what can you do to avoid heat stroke? What can you do to defend yourself from that? To stay cool in a healthy and safe way?